Hello, my name is Allie, and welcome to my channel. We are back with Mystic Destiny Serendipity of Aeons, Hikaru's route. Let's go. Perhaps, but they are not normally so malicious.
We'll know soon enough.
Ooh, new scenery. It's already evening by the time we reach the village. Hikaru's mood seems to have gone even darker. I sigh. Instead, I look around the village, taking in all the cute fox statues everywhere. And there's only one. You guys sure like foxes. Oh, they're kitsune. They're the deities we pray to here. Why do I always forget that? Never mind. I've had to redo this I don't know how many times. Didn't get past much because I just kept messing up. I have to say though, I already know ahead of time that there are a lot of grammar problems so far in this part of the section, so we'll see. Kitsune? The shape-shifting foxes, right? Yes. I love kitsune. Ah, they're one of my favorite parts of folklore. I mean, I love kitsune. I'm so happy to hear that. They deserve all the love. I nod vigorously. They do. Shizuka quietly watches our interaction with a smile. Seina, I was wondering, how is it that you know Hikaru? Well, I met Hiki when he stayed at my village last time to help us out. I was lucky that he let me bug him until we became friends. That was quite a few years ago, though. Hiki and I were just teenagers then. A teenager? What was he like? Seina opens her mouth to respond when we're interrupted by an angry voice. How dare you show your face around here? We turn to face an angry woman with tears running down her face. A man stops beside her to see what's going on, then gasps.
You're the...
Hearing the commotion, more villagers gather around, gasping and pointing right at Hikaru. What's going on? You're traveling with a murderer? I turn to look at Hikaru, who only stands there receiving their anger and accusations as the crowd begins to yell things at him. Seina grabs onto his arm protectively and glares at the crowd. Can everyone just calm down? I know that people you loved were hurt. I know that people died, but it was an accident. He was just trying to help. My husband died because of that monster. Half of our village was destroyed. It took us years to restore this much.
How dare you show your face here now?
He came back to try to help us. You can't...
Seina.
Seina looks up at Hikaru, puts a hand on her shoulder, and then walks off on his own. Hikaru, wait. Hikaru. Before I can even think about what I'm doing, I find my feet moving on my own, chasing after Hikaru. I follow Hikaru through the village, but he moves so fast that I can't catch up with him. He finally stops at a lake just outside the village. I put my hands on my knees, entirely out of breath. My heavy breathing makes Hikaru turn around.
Munchie?
Oh, he's crying. My heart. Tears? Seeing the tears freely streaming down Hikaru's face makes me think of the last time he cried in front of me. Hikaru seems embarrassed and turns away. I look down, uncertain how to approach the wind demigod. I don't want to be pushed away again, but right now supporting him is more important. Steeling myself, I walk up to him, though he's still facing away from me. Uncertain of what I'm doing myself, I stand there for a moment before gingerly putting my arms around him from behind. I press my face into his warm back and tighten my arms around his waist. I feel him stiffen, but I squeeze my eyes shut and try to send him the message that it's okay. That he's not alone. Gradually, Hikaru relaxes and I open my eyes, staring at the setting sun over the peaceful lake. Occasionally, I feel little movements that I think might be sobs, and I just hold him tighter. Seeing that I haven't been rejected yet, I finally work up the bravery to speak. Do you want to talk about what happened here? Hikaru lets out a heavy sigh and gently loosens my hold on him. He turns towards me.
It is not something I like to talk about. But you've already seen and heard many things. I should clarify them at least. To understand, I need to explain what I am first. Who I am. You already know that I am half god. Being a demigod does not work quite the same as other half-species. It is more like there is a human Hikaru and a god Hikaru, both inside of me. When I was a child, I had difficulty controlling that god. A weak god though he may be, he is still destructive. That is why my mother gave me this earring. When I was 7 years old, I lost control of that god and badly hurt another child. My village called me things like freak. They did not know what I was, but they feared me. My father, though only a farmer, was brave and spoke up for me. He and his wife protected me. They sent me to bed early that night so that I would not hear the awful things they yelled outside our home. But I still heard. I could not sleep. I felt as if I was nothing but a burden to my parents. I did not know what I was, or why I hurt people like this. Later that night, when the villagers had tired, I snuck out. I walked to the shore of a lake much like this one. And that is when my mother came to me for the first time.
Haruka. No, Kaze.
Yes. I had never met her, nor did I know the story of my birth. I was afraid at first, but I could feel in her a sameness that I had never felt with anyone else before. She was beautiful, kind, and divine against the moonlight. And so, I felt relaxed in a way I never could remember feeling before. She introduced herself as Haruka no Kaze, goddess of the winds. She told me that she was my birth mother. She said that she had met my father 8 human years ago and fell in love after he had tried to save her. My mother told me that made me half god. But she said that the god inside me was too strong to let out around humans, for they are naturally weaker.
Hikaru touches his earring.
That is when she gave me this to limit my power. Ever since that night, knowing that she was watching over me, knowing that I could fit in and not hurt anyone, I became happy and I was grateful. When I was 16 years old, I met Lady Shizuka. She had come to my village to rest and ended up fighting off a monster alongside me. That is when I decided I wanted more than just to fit in. I wanted to help other people with my power. So I begged Lady Shizuka to take me with her, but she refused. Still, I was stubborn. I said farewell to my father and his wife, the only other woman I knew as my mother, and I set off on my own to help people. But I made many mistakes during that time. During, is it Onin, I guess? During Onin War, a few years back, I tried to help those who were weak, that had been swept up in the war, but I was not able to save everyone. I saw so many die. Despite all my supposed power, still so many died.
Hikaru trails off for a few moments, and I reach out to take his hand. Not looking up, I stroke his hand. And what happened in Miyazawa village?
In Miyazawa village was my greatest mistake. After the war, I wandered here. I had seen too much. I wanted some place quiet I could gather my thoughts. The people here accepted me as I helped them out with everyday tasks. Seina and I became close friends after her parents let me do work for them. I grew to become comfortable here. It became my second home. But really, I was just running away from my pain. And from my dreams, too. From what I really wanted to do. You cannot outrun your destiny, it seems. You will always be pulled back in eventually. A powerful demon attacked the village one day. I had heard about it attacking other villages, but I figured there was nothing I could do. At least, that's what I told myself. Eventually, it came to Miyazawa. I tried to fight it when it tried to attack Seina and I. But my earring, I lost it in the fight, and then I lost control. I am pathetic for saying this, but I am thankful I have no memory of what happened next. In the end, it was Lady Shizuka stopped me and brought me back to my senses. She had come to help them. I am ashamed that she saw me that way.
Poor Hikaru. This sounds rough.
But I am far more ashamed of what I did while I was like that.
Oh, his tears.
People died. I killed people, destroyed their homes. I have no words or defense for my actions.
Of course, if you hear, I'm sorry, my neighbor, I don't know if they're cutting down a tree or something, but I can hear a chainsaw. I apologize. I immediately find myself hugging Hikaru, this time from the front. He looks down at me stunned. But it was an accident. You were only trying to help.
Even so,
It was Tsuneka who chose to hurt them. You are simply the person who was entangled and pulled into her twisted plans. It has nothing to do with you. It is not your fault. Isn't that what you told me last night? Was that a lie? Was it you who chose to hurt those people or that demon? The regrets we carry from our actions can feel as if they will suffocate you. But if you can remember how far you have come while looking ahead to the future, to whatever it is you're fighting for, then I know you can find whatever it is you're seeking, or achieve any dream you are reaching towards. I remember every word you said. It's burned into my mind. Aren't you being hypocritical if you don't take your own advice? Yes, our actions both hurt people. Yes, it was an accident, and we should bear responsibility for doing what we can to fix it. But it wasn't our fault, and we shouldn't let us stop us from moving forward, right? Hikaru stares at me, seemingly at a loss for words.
Munchie,
A loud splash from the lake drowns out Hikaru's words, drawing our attention away from each other. We turn to face the lake. A large green scaly creature stands before us, dripping with water. Ooh. Can we see the creature? I want to see it. Hikaru immediately shoves me behind him.
So it is a kappa after all. But why is it here in a lake? Something is off. Munchie, can you run and get Lady Shizuka?
I'm going to say, no way, I'm going to fight too. There's no way in hell I'm leaving you, so don't even try it. I've been trained by a demigod and a legendary sorceress, Shizuka. There's no way I can back down with my pride intact, and there's no way I'm going to lose.
So, that is how it's going to be.
Yep, that's how it is. The kappa runs at us with incredible speed. It's so fast that I barely see it move, dodging just a second before it rushes right past me. How is it so fast? From what I do remember about kappa, they're not supposed to be this unnaturally fast. Hikaru pulls out his sword and meets the kappa head on as it jumps at him, trying to get a bite out of him. He grunts as he struggles to keep the creature off of him.
This is no ordinary kappa. This strength is unreal.
Hikaru's voice is strained as he speaks, and not for a moment does he take his eyes off of the kappa. Looking at the crazed creature, I have to agree, there's something off. Just like there was something off with the creatures that attacked us before. I get lost in those thoughts just a moment too long. The kappa overpowers Hikaru, making him jump back, away from the creature's clawed hand. I barely catch Hikaru's hand reaching for his earring. Whoa. He's so cool looking. With a flash of light, Hikaru stands transformed. The kappa stands frozen, much like me, staring at the godly form before us. I snap myself out of my frozen state and push my hands out towards the kappa. It shrieks as walls of ice shoot out from the ground around him. Hikaru wastes no time. Using the opening I've created, he glides towards as if he no longer needs to abide by the laws of gravity. He makes a slicing motion with his hand. A sharp gust of wind pushes forward, easily cutting through both the kappa and my ice barriers. The kappa gargles, and its body falls to the ground like a sack of potatoes. I stare at the dead creature as my ice barriers melt away. but I find my eyes drifting towards Hikaru. He, still in his godly form, stands near the slain Kappa's body. Hikaru looks at me and I unconsciously take a step back, feeling the intense aura radiating from him.
Do you fear me?
Hikaru's voice is deeper and almost echoing as he is imbued, I guess that's the word, with divine power. We're going to say a little bit. Maybe a little. Seeing what you are and can do. Yeah, it's a little scary.
A reasonable response. You would do well to stay away from gods. Their ideals do not align with humans, and any human imbued with enough of their power is a danger to everything.
That discussed and the monster we came here to fight already dealt with, we decide to head back to the village. But I can see the hesitation in Hikaru's eyes, so I hold his hand the rest of the way back. I'm going to let you guys go here. I hope you are enjoying, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!